If the Fed keeps rates low, people eventually need to reach for yield. And when they do, they climb into all kinds of murky products like subprime auto loans, which we recently highlighted here on the show. But here's my question. Are you at all concerned that breaking the law and committing fraudulent financial activities is not only tolerated and condoned, but it's even encouraged by the present policy?
Of course it's encouraged. If you were to stop the fraud, any of it, and make a serious effort to do that, this entire Ponzi system that we've built over the last 30 years would come apart. Exponential growth, no matter what it is, anytime that you hear about compounded rates of return or compounded growth over indefinite periods of time, without an endpoint, without stating that it ends or it flattens at this point in time, is by definition of mathematics a fraud. This is a rock of limited size. We live on a planet that has a finite size and mass. You can't have compound growth to infinity. It's impossible. So what we're really talking about here is the gullibility of the public, along with people out there in the governments and everybody else. But the people in the government, the banking system, all understand this. They aren't that stupid. They believe that you're going to buy into it, and so far you have.
Now, I think the one thing that can unite groups as dissimilar as Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party is the sense that financial crimes have gone unpunished and that this is a perversion of the principles that America was founded on. So am I off base here, and what's your take on the situation?
No, that's absolutely correct. But the problem is that both of those groups went from having a positive foundation, which is putting a stop to the fraud, to something that had nothing to do with that foundation in the space of weeks or months. Occupy Wall Street went from being, okay, we've got a bunch of fraudulent banking transactions here, people being given loans that they didn't qualify for because somebody was falsely stating their income, up and down the line, not just from a standpoint of housing, but also student loans as well. Here we have people that are being, handed $120,000 to pursue degrees that at best earn 30 grand a year. There's no possible way you could ever pay that back. And nobody in their right mind would lend you that kind of money unless there was some way to compel you to be a debt slave for the rest of your life. Okay. But then what came from that? Oh, everybody deserves free health care. Well, no, wait a minute. What does that have to do with fraud? Okay. And the Tea Party went down the same road. First, we started with, we've got a bunch of people that are being wrongfully evicted from homes because they were given loans that they were not qualified for. And the people that sold this trash on knew that they were selling it. We know this because there are emails and memos floating around that say this stuff was vomit. Okay. How long did it stay there before it turned into guns, gays, and God? About 15 minutes. So you have movements that start out focused in the right place, and then somehow magically they transform themselves. And I don't believe in coincidence. It's happened twice. So who's running around trying to make these things into something they're not?